Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Just a few housekeeping bits before we get started. I'm your host, Alex. I'm one of the marketing managers here at Acquia. I will be on should you be needing me, but I'll just encourage everyone to put questions in the question and answer box, and we'll get to those at the end. Agnes is going to run through a great presentation for us today, and it will take about 25 minutes or so. So it's nice and short and sharp, and it'll be a great insight into understanding the Acquia DXP. By default, you're all on mute, but as I say, we'll get to the questions and answers at the end, and please raise a hand if any of you have any technical issues, and we'll try and help you. But hopefully it should all be straightforward, so I'll now pass you over to Agnes.
Thank you. Alex, can you see my screen?
Yes, got your screen, thank you.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to turn off my video since I have a few videos that I'm going to show. Okay. Welcome everyone to today's webinar with the title Understanding the Acquia Digital Experience Platform and Mapping the End User Journey. So my name is Agnes Lind and I'm from Sweden originally, but I'm based in the UK at the moment. And I'm currently a solutions engineer at Acquia, which is the open digital experience company that empowers some of the world's most ambitious brands. And our CDO, as some of you might have heard, created Drupal, the open source content management system that now powers more than 4,000 organizations. And in this webinar, you will learn how you can understand, personalize, and engage with donors on any channel, as well as creating seamless experience efficiently to always deliver the best next action. So over the next 20 to 25 minutes, we will take a look at the current situation, the challenges, but also the opportunities within the charity sector. We will also talk about understanding personalized journeys and evaluating some strategies to meet changing donor preferences, such as personalization, to be able to understand and engage with your audience better. Then I will show you Acquia's approach to this with a demonstration of an end user journey, as well as how some of our tools can be used to efficiently create and engage create an engaging end user journey. And finally, we'll take a look at a success story from one of our customers and how they managed to transform the website experience that they had using some of the tools that I will be demonstrating. And at the end, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So this is the hard and cold reality of today. COVID has changed normality as we understand and know it. Charities who have had a physical presence and who usually rely on their physical events have been mostly affected. I'm sure we don't need to spend too much time on this, as we all understand our current situation. But these are some numbers from the beginning of the outbreak, where about 20,000 staff members of the largest charities in the UK were furloughed. And there was also predicted 4.3 billion donation gap due to the complete shutdown of activities. And even though we're hoping the end is near, charities have had to adapt and find new ways to engage donors and to boost their fundraising. But the good news is, and the positive is, that people want to help. COVID-19 has reinforced the values of community purpose and social solidarity. And I'm sure you're all familiar with Captain Moore, the legendary Captain Moore, who raised over £30 million for the NHS. And also the great granny who walks 5K a day for cancer charities, which is amazing. And it's also been estimated that there are around 20 million volunteers only within the UK. And also during the COVID pandemic, there have been over 10 million volunteers within the UK who have volunteered in their local communities. And especially the millennials, which I can relate to, make up a big part of the charity community. Before COVID, about 11 volunteers in the UK were just millennials. And in 2018, over 80% of millennials donated to charities. So it's quite evident that people want to help, but we just need to understand how to bridge that gap and how to adapt in our current circumstances. Another challenge that we face is that people are more and more looking for a meaningful digital experience when engaging with organizations. And this is a quote from the nonprofit Times that explains that people want an experience that is more personal and relevant to them. Forrester also validates this by saying that we need to go from more generic content to more customer-centric interactions that feel more personal to them, with more dynamic and predictive techniques. So in other words, and how we at Acquia try to explain this to our customers, is that you need a solution that syndicates content across all channels tied to a single view of donors that understands their personas and preferences. And this also allows for engagement with donors, giving them the right message at the right time in the right format. So if we look at how to understand personalized journeys, we need to look at what the end users expect. And the end users want what they want quickly, and they don't want too many frustrating barriers or hinders to do what they want on the channels that they like. And for businesses and organizations to achieve this, they need to understand their end users. They need to create relevant and exciting content. They need to personalize the content to make it more engaging. And they also need to automate that process. We also need to look at the end user journey and the steps of becoming a donor or, for example, a volunteer. So these are the 4 phases of an end user journey when becoming a donor. We have the discovery phase, where the end user discovers the charity organization, and then followed by the consideration phase, where the end user will learn about what the organization does. And that's where the user usually considers whether they want to engage with the organization or not. And then we have the conversion stage, where the end user makes the first donation or maybe becomes a volunteer for the first time. And then finally, we have the nurturing phase, where organizations want to nurture that the relationship that they have created to increase the donations and further opportunities in the future. And from the organization's perspective in that end user journey, these are the phases when getting to know and understanding an end user or a donor. So the end user starts off as an anonymous user, where the organization knows very little about the user or the prospective donor. And then we have the known phase, where the end user is known and the organization has gathered some more information and can engage with the user in a more proactive way. And then the final stage is understood, where the organization understands what the customer or donor wants, and they can give more accurate suggestions, where the end users even might be an advocate for the organization. So this is our approach at Acquia, and this is our digital experience platform with multiple tools for organizations to achieve that kind of engagement with their customers and donors. And what I wanted to focus on are these 2 areas or tools of our platform to show you how to create personalized journeys. So we have low-code site building to build and create digital content quickly for quicker time to market. And then we have personalization to show the right content to the right person for digital engagement. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief demonstration of what it could look like using our tools. And I'm going to start off with an end user journey. And I'm going to take the role as Emily. And Emily is a millennial in her 20s, and she has always been looking to help out in some way, maybe volunteering, maybe donating, but she's never really known where to start, since many projects seem to be too far away or too complicated. So I'm going to take on the role as her. And as many other millennials, Emily uses Instagram. And she's scrolling through her feed. And then based on her demographics, she sees a post posted by an organization, a charity organization called Give Back More. And they're encouraging her or asking her if she wants to volunteer in her local area. And since she's been thinking about wanting to volunteer in some kind of way, she's very interested in this, and she's going to click on the button to find out more. And once she gets to the homepage, she can see a personalized hero that asks her if she's in Reading. And since she lives in Reading, this feels very relevant to her. And this hero is based on her geolocation. And she's going to take a further look at the webpage and scroll through their projects. And she's going to go into the projects tab to find out what projects they might have. So she goes to the projects tab and she can see that they have a lot of different projects like COVID initiatives. They have fighting the global water crisis projects. She can also sponsor a child or volunteer in her local area. And since COVID is the situation we're all in, that feels very relevant to her, and she's going to click into the COVID projects to read more. And she can see that they have multiple projects when it comes to COVID, but she hasn't really made up her mind yet, and she hasn't really made a decision whether she wants to donate yet or help out in some way. So she's going to abandon her experience and then come back later. And then once she goes back to the homepage, she will get another personalized hero asking her if she wants to make a difference in the COVID-19 pandemic. And since she has thought more about this and she's had this engaging digital experience, she's going to click into the COVID projects and finally make a donation. So now I've shown you an example of a personalized end user journey of an anonymous user. So how can organizations create this kind of experience? And as mentioned before, low-code site building is key to building rich content fast. So at Acquia, we have a tool called Acquia Site Studio, which is the only enterprise-grade low-code site building tool for Drupal. Acquia Site Studio enhances the old process for creating successful Drupal experiences through simplifying website creation. Using Site Studio, you'll have complete UX design and design control that allows site builders to create user experiences without writing or deploying any code. Site Studio utilizes drag and drop functionalities for simplified page and layout creation, which I will show you in the demo. And Site Studio also enables consistency and brand governance through implementation of design systems that respect brand guidelines that can easily be configured by developers. So we're going to take a look at how a landing page can be built within just a few minutes using Site Studio. And I'm going to be using the same home page as we saw in the end user journey. So when using Site Studio, you will have an additional tab in Drupal where you can configure site-wide settings and styles and build components and templates that will be consistent throughout the whole site. But I will go ahead and create a landing page reusing some pre-built components. And I will start by adding a title. And what you can see here is a layout canvas where you can drag and drop components that the page will consist of. So on the left, we have a component section with a set of components pre-configured by developers. And you can easily drag and drop the components onto your layout canvas. But I'm going to go ahead and use something called a helper, which is like a pre-populated template with components that can be reused and edited. And this makes it very easy to reuse page layouts and create new pages quickly. So I'm going to choose this helper. And as you can see, you can move around and edit the components within the helper as well. But I don't want to use this 3-column layout. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And I'm going to replace it with a 2-column layout. So I'm going to drag this 2-column layout onto the layout canvas, and I'm going to fill it up with an image to the right and some text and a heading to the left. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. And Site Studio also enables the usage of different templates. So a microsite, for example, is useful if you want less distractions on your page, but I will use the landing page template. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. And here is our landing page created using a helper and a few components. And something that's very convenient about Site Studio is that you can edit all pages within the browser. So I'm going to go up to the left corner and click Edit. and I'm gonna edit the hero. So I want to change the title and the background of the hero. And all these things that I can edit within the browser are things that have been decided and configured by developers. So I'm going to change the title, and I want to change the text color to a light color. And then I want to change the background image to this one. And here is our hero. I also want to go ahead and change the image to the right. And I'm going to choose a relevant image. I will choose the one with the children on, and then save it. So here is our finalized landing page, and I'm going to go out from the editing mode, and then you will see our landing page. So within just a few minutes, we have created a beautiful landing page using a helper and a few components. So now I've showed you the simplicity of Site Studio and how to create rich content fast without any code, and how we can utilize drag and drop functionalities to quickly create a page. So now we'll take a look at how you can go even further by providing a personalized experience for your visitors. So at Acquia, we have a tool called Personalization, formerly Lift, that is used to increase engagement with your visitors by delivering a personalized experience. And some capabilities that come with personalization is that you can easily track and manage campaigns within a single user interface. You can also personalize content for both known and unknown visitors in real time. We also have a segment builder where you can segment your visitors, which allows for targeted campaigns. We also have a campaign builder where you can easily and quickly build campaigns. And finally, we have an analytics section where you can analyze visitors and visitor behaviors to make further decisions. So now we're going to take a look at how you can easily create a personalized campaign similar to the one we saw in the end user example using Acquia Personalization. So this is the personalization dashboard that we have at Acquia. And to the left, you can manage and organize your different campaigns on all your different sites and segments. And on the top bar, we have an analytics section where you can analyze your segments and visitors to make further decisions. But I'm going to go ahead and create a personalized campaign similar to the coronavirus campaign that Emily saw on the page. So there are several types of campaigns that you can choose, but I've chosen a targeted personalization to target a specific segment. So I will give the campaign a name and choose a site for the campaign. We also have the possibility to choose a time frame for the campaign, but I'm not going to do that for now. So now I can choose a segment for the campaign, and I'm going to choose the one called Sponsor a Child. And now we can start building the experience. So here's the home page that Emily visited, and you can choose slots for where you can put the personalized content. So there are multiple slots that you can choose from, but I will choose a pre-configured slot and add some content that I have already created. So I'm going to choose this one and then choose some content that I have created before this. And then select that and then click Save and Continue. And now I'm just going to look through the details and just make sure that everything is right and click Save and Continue. And then finally, I can click Publish. So now we're going to take a look at the campaign and just make sure that it's actually working. So we're going to go back to the home page and scroll down to the articles about sponsoring a child. And we're going to click on the article and then read the article. And then once we go back to the home page, we will have a personalized hero based on my previous actions. So now I've showed you how to create a personalized campaign using Acquia Personalization and how we could do that in just a few clicks. I've also showed you how we can show relevant content to anonymous users in real time, which can inform your further decisions. So this is a customer example or a success story from WaterAid, who utilized personalization to transform a generic one-size-fits-all website to a personalized and segment of one website. And the challenge that they had was that they didn't know anything about their audience besides their Google Analytics data. And using personalization, they could start off by capturing anonymous data for each visitor to their site. And then once they knew more about their visitors, they could start segmenting visitors into groups to be able to target and build funnels for those specific segments. And the result that they got was that they could capture that granular prospect data. They could also organize groups of prospects into segments to then build funnels for each segment. And WaterAid's normal click-through rate of 3.5% improved to over 14% using the personalized call to action. They also managed to get more than 1,600 donations as completed campaign goals to their websites. And they also implemented custom tracking between Acquia Personalization and Google Analytics. They also managed to get up 16 targeted personalizations, 57 segments, 9 goals, and 22 custom events, giving insight into supporters' interactions with their website. So that's just one of the examples of an organization that's used personalization and really benefited from that. So that's all from me, and I want to thank you for listening, and I would be happy to go into more detail if anyone is interested. For example, a further demo of a product, or if you just want some more information about our products, you can either contact me or your account manager or the one who invited you. But for now, you can feel free to ask any questions that you might have in the chat, and we will stay on for a couple of minutes to try to answer them. So thank you.
Thanks, Agnes. That was brilliant. We have already had a few questions come in, actually, so I'll just get straight into those. The first one that's come in is, can this all be linked into a CRM instance?
Yes, we have APIs and a few connectors so that you can connect it to any of your marketing automation tools. So that's possible.
Perfect, thank you. And then someone's just asked, can Lift sync with external segments as well?
What do you mean with external segments?
That's a good question. If the person that's asked that question is able to clarify, I'll get to another question first, and then
okay.
So what other channels or specifications can personalization work with?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
I said, sorry. So what other channels or specifications can personalization work with?
So personalization is mostly used for web channels, but we also have a few other products on our marketing cloud, like Campaign Studio and a customer data platform, where you can use personalized content on many different channels. I don't know if that was the question, or
I think that probably answers it, yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to the other question as well. So it was a question about .digital. So can Lift sync with external segments, and the external segment being .digital?
I'm not entirely sure about that. As far as I know, we create all the segments within Lift. But if you want to, I can get back to, was it Tim that asked that question?
Yeah.
If you want to put your email, I would be happy to just send you an email to answer that.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, Tim, we'll get back to you directly on that one. So thanks, Agnes.
Oh, I just found the answer that you can pull in external segments to personalization. So yes, that's Perfect. Possible.
Thank you. Someone's just asked, what's Lift's plan for Google's changes to third-party cookies? Will personalization still work? That's a very topical question.
I think you do need cookies for that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And then a final question we've got in at the moment, and as I say, I encourage anyone, if you've got any more questions, we've still got a bit more time, so please keep them coming. Approximately how soon would we be able to see rewards from implementing something like this?
That's a really good question. I think the return on investment really depends on your metrics and your KPIs. We do have a crawl, walk, run model that we call it, where you can start having different levels for lift. So you can start off, for example, with just implementing geolocation or a few personalized campaigns. But it really depends on the organization and what your metrics are. And yeah, and we would have to have further discussions on just what it would look like for you specifically. So yeah, but we would be happy to have any kind of discussions about that.
Perfect, thank you. I'll just give it 30 more seconds, but we don't have any more questions for now. So if there's no more questions, I just want to thank you, Agnes, because that was brilliant, really insightful. And as a marketer, I know the power of personalization, and I've had a play around in Site Studio as well, and it is super easy to use as well. So it's a great tool, yeah.
Thanks. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, so again, thanks everyone for taking the time to join today. And if there's no more questions, we'll end the webinar there. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.